Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse today, Monday, March 3rd, 2025. Now, the Eric Adams beat, the Adams legal beat is really heating up. On Friday, I believe it was, there were a number of proposed amicus briefs filed, but the most interesting of which I thought it covered was by former federal judges urging Judge Ho to appoint a special counsel. Now, to prosecute the case. A private attorney appointed to pursue a case that the SDNY and DOJ can't pursue. This was done actually by Judge Kaplan in the case of Stephen Donziger, in which I think the progressive position would be quite opposite on this one, but structurally it can be done. Will it be done? I don't know. There's also a letter, I guess filed Friday, but publicized by the congresspeople this morning by Representatives Raskin and Crockett, in a letter to Pam Bondi, protesting and calling for an end of the corruption and collusion and supposed destruction of evidence, including by Émile Beauvais. Now, we've written the book called Sovereign District, ? And you can find a lot there, including about the fallout between Beauvais and his his then SDNY mates. So there's that. Also, I'm going to have to miss it, but at 10 a.m., I believe Brad Lander is having a press conference in Foley Square about Andrew Cuomo, who's jumped in the race, and his history of sexual harassment, including a case that we covered in SDNY. So we're thinking of, maybe we'll have a project on that, although the case was dropped. What can I say? Now we're heading in to cover this ongoing U.S. versus Charlie Javice case. It's pretty interesting. It has to do with the sale of a fintech to J.P. Morgan Chase, but it goes right to the top. Jamie Dimon and his insane desire to deny Bank of America the right to this fintech, and probably being sort of taken by this Charlie Javice. In any case, we should be live tweeting that trial in just a few short moments after we upload this one. Now, over the weekend, believe it or not, we've had 3 separate scoops about the UN. We can't go into the UN. Antonio Guterres has banned Inner City Press. The litmus test remains to be taken, sort of like the California bar exam. It's an inside legal joke, but 2 of them involve South Sudan, 1 involves Libya. I guess we cover Africa. This is where whistleblowers are writing to us too. But to me, it's something I didn't know about, was that the government of South Sudan, the youngest country on earth, I don't know if we can really call it a UN success story, but it did break away from Sudan and become an independent country. Well, they now have a huge rift with the UN that no one at the UN is asking about. And the rift involves, 1, a parcel of land by the airport where the government has said they want it back. And the UN has apparently said they won't leave. And so a South Sudan government official has said, what kind of a guest comes and tells you where they want to sit? And that's a good question. He also claims, which I hadn't been aware of, that Radio Maria, the UN's propaganda radio station in South Sudan, was actually supposed to be returned to the South Sudanese government after independence, and wasn't. So the UN are thieves and bad guests in one of the few countries following East Timor that they should claim credit for having helped birth. Bad parenting. Antonio Guterres, corrupt censor. The other scoops involve Libya, which is another total fiasco for the United Nations, in which they basically have turned over the leadership of the UN mission there to the countries of Lebanon and Egypt, which is not something that the national staff from Libya really like. In any event, we're asking these questions, we put them in, but they don't answer them. And so that's why the ban on Inner City Press by the UN must be reversed, because we have questions and we have scoops and exclusives. But first, we have SDNY, and we're going in. To be continued.